basically what we call the critical level parameter, and our recommendation is to choose it above neutrality. The reason for that is there is one unpleasant feature of total utilitarianism that was formulated by Derek Parfit, and that's what he called the repugnant conclusion. The repugnant conclusion says basically for any lifetime level of well-being that's extremely as high as you like for everyone, you don't even have to worry about distributional issues, and for any level of lifetime utility as close to neutrality as you like, still positive but as close to utility as you like, there is a larger population size such that having all these people that are very, very close to neutrality is better than having the society with fewer people that are reasonably well off. If you have a positive critical level, you avoid that. And our interpretation of a possible choice of a critical level is, well, some notion of a poverty line, or indeed what we consider a minimal acceptable standard of living. And this is something you can't even define with average utilitarians. All right, so far so good. And again, this can be generalized. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. You can use transformed utilities. Then if the transformation is strictly concave, you have inequality aversion utilities. You can introduce uncertainty, and of course you can include non-human animals. I mean, there's nothing that prevents you from that. Actually, yes?
Sorry, but I'm a bit lost on one thing. So you are going to compare, if I understood, I'm sorry, for example, a population made up of one person, a
Yeah.
population with 1 million persons.
Yeah.
Now, there, if I am alone,
Yeah.
and then I add 1,000 people, any of the things you wrote there seems to say that to be more people is better than
Not necessarily, only if they're above the critical level, and everything else is
no,
not
also
changed.
that. Okay.
Yeah. And remember, if you worry about any effects from overpopulation, for example, they are integrated because they will affect your lifetime well-being. That's what welfarism does. Right? I mean,
UI depends upon N.
no. UI depends on, you have a description of states of the world. Then let's say whatever, I said X, and then for everyone who could be alive, you have a utility function, UI, and that's X and UR. Welfarism says if you want to compare any distributions of these utilities for this object, this could be anything. I mean, it should contain a full description, a comprehensive description of the state of the world. And then welfarism says all you have to worry about is the levels of well-being achieved. That's what it does. I didn't specify it because I started welfarism right away. But of course, this is. I mean, I'm cutting corners here. I realize that I just don't have the time to go into as much detail as I would like, and you probably don't want me to go into all that. At any rate, so again, this can be generalized. Again, you can accommodate non-human animals. Actually. David and Charles have what I think is a very nice paper. I can say this, I was not involved. Again, it was in the early 90s. It's called Pigs and Guinea Pigs, a note on the ethics of animal exploitation. And they use this framework to examine whether what we do with animals is actually a nice thing, and both in terms of food animals and animals that are used for research. And you can use exactly this kind of objective to see, for example, one result they came up with is that typically what is currently done, what was currently done in those days, was clearly too animal intensive, because many things could have been substituted with tissue cultures, for example. So clearly there is no restriction, there is no need to restrict this to humans. The more comprehensive, the better in a way. Of course, you may consider, if you include non-humans, whether you may give different weights, but that's up to the person who wants to apply on this. All right, so what we want to do now is we want to allow for the possibility of non-comparability. Perhaps in a situation where you have 1 in 1,000, for example, yeah. And the way we do that, I mean, again, we're not the first to do this. Now comes the other we, BBD we, like it was a Johnson we. We have a proposal on what we call critical band utilitarianism, and you do this exercise for different possible levels in a whole interval rather than for a single critical level. And you say if there is agreement among all of these critical levels, then you go for it. If there isn't, you stay silent. Now basically what we